Do you believe that some artworks weren't painted to be admired, but were created to imprison a grudge? This is the story of a mysterious oil painting born from a blood oath, with a price paid in lives. When the beauty reflected in the mirror doesn't just show a shadow, but reflects a hell you cannot escape. Welcome to a tale that will make you fear looking into a mirror at night. Namfon's mysterious painting. Amidst the pungent stench of turpentine and oil paints filling a cramped, run-down apartment, Namfon, an overlooked female painter, used her final strength to stroke her brush across the canvas. Her hands trembled uncontrollably, not from exhaustion, but from the despair burning in her chest. Her bloodshot eyes stared at the woman in the painting, a slender figure with her back to the viewer, looking into a mirror that revealed a face of profound sorrow. The reflection seemed alive. The woman's eyes in the portrait appeared wet with actual tears. "Mom must survive. I won't let her go like this," she whispered through sobs. Her bank balance was down to a few hundred, while the medical bills for her unconscious mother in the ICU had surged past $1 million. This painting was her final gamble. She had spent her last bit of money on the best supplies, hoping to create a masterpiece that would change her life. Namfon posted the painting, titled "The Lady in the Mirror," on social media, with a caption describing her agony and an auction to save her mother's life. Day 1 passed with only a few likes from old friends. By day 3, everything was as silent as a grave. On the 5th day, darkness consumed her heart until she began to lose her mind. Namfon took a cutter and sliced her middle finger, letting fresh red blood drip into her palette. She carefully dabbed the blood onto the eyes of the woman in the mirror and typed a final message. "If anyone can give me the price I need, I'll trade anything. Even my life, or something far worse." As soon as the declaration was made, the lights in the room flickered rapidly, as if acknowledging the blood oath. Her phone screen, previously still, flashed bright. The auction numbers jumped crazily from tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands, soaring to 1 million within minutes. Finally, it stopped at an occult number, 6,660,000 baht. From a mysterious account, with no profile picture, Namfon looked at the number with a mix of horror and joy. She had no idea that the true price for this money wasn't just hard work, but the beginning of a never-ending hell. After the auction that made headlines concluded, Namfon vanished from the art world. Rumors swirled that she received the 6.66 million baht, and the painting "The Lady in the Mirror" was secretly delivered to a mysterious foreign millionaire named Peter. The once buzzing social media world began to forget the story over time, until 2 years later, a major tragedy dragged the painting's name back into the shadows. Millionaire Peter was found dead in his luxury seaside mansion. His body was found in a strangely gruesome state. He had put a gun in his mouth and pulled the trigger, obliterating the upper half of his face. He left a will bequeathing his assets to his Thai wife. Curiously, his wife and children seemed terrified of the mansion, as if they had seen a demon. They immediately announced the sale of the house and every piece of furniture at giveaway prices, taking only cash and fleeing the premises instantly. The mansion passed to a second owner, a Thai millionaire, but in less than half a year, he decided to end his life in the office where the lady in the mirror was hung. Then came the third and the fourth. Every single one met the same fate: suicide, in bizarre and agonizing ways. Within that house, rumors began to spread about a woman in a pale kimono dragging her feet along the hallways at night, and the sound of sobbing echoing from the room where the painting was displayed. The final owner, who inherited the house from his father who had committed suicide, went as far as abandoning the title deed and selling the house back to the bank at a massive loss. He couldn't stand the sensation of a pair of eyes watching him through the walls at all times. The bank decided to demolish the mansion to sell only the vacant land. The assets inside were auctioned off, but there was only one item that nobody would buy: that 90 by 60 centimeters old painting. A young bank manager named Samkiet, who never believed in superstitions, felt captivated by the lines of the woman looking in the mirror. He secretly kept the painting and hung it in his bedroom. Within just 1 week, neighbors heard Samkiet arguing violently with thin air before finding him hanged from the curtain rod. His toes were pointing toward the painting, leaning against the wall, as if he were struggling to escape from something staring at him from inside that mirror. Amidst the gruesome news of the bank manager's death, Vikern, a young man with a passion for art and one of those who had followed Namfon's painting auction years ago, sat watching the TV news with a racing heart. For a brief moment, as the news camera panned across the deceased's bedroom, Vikern's eyes widened in shock. He was certain he recognized the lady in the mirror, the legendary painting that had once made national headlines for its $6.66 million baht auction price. Why would a painting that valuable be in the room of some lowly bank manager? Curiosity mixed with greed began to take over. Vikern used his connections to track down information until he could contact the late manager's wife. He posed as a collector wanting to ease the burden of the bereaved by offering to buy the displaced painting. The manager's wife looked at the painting with disgust and fear. She told him with a trembling voice that since the painting entered the house, her husband had become a different person. He would wake up in the middle of the night and stare at the painting for hours, muttering the name Namfon and repeatedly apologizing. Most importantly, she couldn't sell it to him because it was an asset left over from a foreclosed mansion of a bank client. If she took Vikern's money, she might face criminal charges. If you want it that badly, just take it. I don't want to see it in this house for even another second. She gave the painting to Vikern for free, with only one condition: never bring it back. Vikern was ecstatic. He cradled the 90 by 60 centimeters old painting in his arms as he drove home, failing to notice that in his car's rearview mirror, the reflection of the lady in the painting on the back seat was no longer sitting with her back turned. Instead, she was twisting her neck around to stare at the back of his head with cloudy eyes and a grin that tore from ear to ear. Upon arriving home, Vikern carefully hung the painting elegantly in the main hall. He grabbed a glass of wine to celebrate the luck of owning a 6 million baht painting for free. But that very night, the sound of heavy footsteps on the second floor and the sound of nails scratching against the canvas began to echo. The luck he thought he got for free was about to collect interest in the form of a catastrophe he could never have imagined. To be continued in the next episode.